Oh, howdy all, grab yourselves a beer, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. Today I wanted to have a look at using harvest crafting to craft a genuinely top-end small cluster jewel. Now the problems I'm trying to solve with this are my life and chaos resistance on my character, and that's going to influence some of the choices that I make. So what I've started with is, you'll see here, just ignore the fact that this is synthesized. I just happen to have a synthesized craft that I decided to throw on it. What you see here is a cluster jewel that I have gone out of my way to carefully craft a certain way. It has the 3 passive skills that it adds. Each one grants 4% maximum life, and then also it has added small passive skills have 35% increased effect and grant tier 1 chaos resistance. That is the suffix of exile. That suffix is only available on item level 84 and up cluster jewels, and because of that I needed to find another player that was selling a 3-socket life percent cluster jewel that had item level 84 or higher. I was able to find that, and it cost me about 1.3 exalts at the time. Don't know what they're worth now, but that was more than a week ago. After that, I decided I was going to roll this using transmutation orbs, alterations, and the like, and my goal was to get exactly the 2 mods that you see on it. So a quick look into what's available in terms of rolls on a cluster jewel. So I'm going to jump across to PoEDB, which is a website that covers data mined information info pulled from the game files. All of the notable nodes, and you'll notice I don't currently have one of them, all of these are prefixes. Then we have a number of other possible prefixes. These are shared across all of the various cluster jewels. I have powerful, and I also have tier 1 chaos resistance. The way that I got these 2 rolls was I used alteration orbs until I had powerful on its own. Once I had powerful on its own, then I used the harvest crafting to augment a chaos modifier on it, and the only chaos modifier that was possible was one of these suffixes. The reason that I couldn't get a prefix such as notable has blessed, the reason I couldn't get that is because it was a magic item at this point. Now the first time I did this I got a terrible tier of chaos resistance. I think I may have got 4%. And so then I used harvest crafting, remove and add a chaos modifier over and over and over and over again. On average it would take you 15 tries to get of exile. I was a little bit unlucky and got it on my 33rd. So that was 1,000 chaos in trades to get that. But in practice it should cost you about 450 if you try to replicate this craft. Of course, you don't necessarily need to replicate it exactly the same way. You may decide to go for something slightly different. The principles, however, should all work. Now, my next goal is that because I'm trying to fix up my chaos resistance, I want to have a high quality notable node on this jewel. And the one that comes to mind is Blessed. Blessed is high quality. It's not as good as Fettle, but Fettle is extremely difficult to roll. You'll see here these weights. These are essentially the number of raffle tickets that each of these crafts has. So when you go and add a mod to the item, there's 49 chances to get Fettle, but there's 780 chances to get Peak Figure, there's 146 to get Careful Handling, and there's 500 to get Agile, low tier evasion rating. So based on that, what I'm wanting to do is find a mod that is of a high quality that I can force onto the item by virtue of the harvest crafting. And I personally have settled for Blessed. You'll notice that it is the only prefix that has the chaos tag. Therefore, once this item is rare, I can augment the jewel with a chaos modifier, and I'm guaranteed to hit Blessed. However, what I need to do to get there to this point is that I need to use a Regal Orb to make this item into a rare item, and I need to do so in a way that doesn't brick what I've got if I'm unlucky. And so what I'm going to use is a Crikey Chimeral Beastcraft. These allow you to create an imprint of a magic item. An imprint was a mechanic that existed back in the days when Eternal Orbs were in the game. It is essentially a save state for an item. So what my goal is I'm going to use this beast, which has been added to my bestiary, and now I'm going to need to fight it at the Blood Altar. And I'm going to go down here and create an imprint of a magic item. Here's this beast. I just picked this up in trade from another player. It cost me 68 Chaos Orbs. And this is going to get me a save state here. Now I'm just going to throw in very low tier other beasts. That's just something I tend to do on higher end crafts, just as a form of insurance against you making big mistakes or getting having problems with lag and the like. So, okay, this is good to go. Let's fight these things. And we're down to... This is really laggy at the moment. In fact, this is borderline unplayable lag at the moment. And this is at my system. Anyways, that's fine. We got the imprint. And the Blood Altar will have the original item back in it. So I'm now going to collect that out. So if my Regal is a disaster, I can then use the imprint and it will restore this item back to where it was. So let's go and do that. I'm going to go to my hideout, and all the performance is really bad at the moment. We're going to hit this with a Regal. Now what we want to hit is a mod that is either desirable on its own or that can be surgically removed with the harvest mechanics. So let's see what we get. We got something that can be surgically removed. That means I don't need the imprint. I'm never going to need to use this. I can use a harvest craft that removes a cold modifier from an item and get rid of that unwanted of the Intuit mod. However, what we're going to do at this point, we're very close to done now. I'm just going to go and look for my augment crafts, or my horticrafting stations. I'm going to look to see if I have one that allows me to augment a chaos modifier onto an item. And this is always these are always fun to look for. Augment with a physical, augment with attack, augment with caster. That's remove a chaos and remove a non-chaos and add a chaos. They're not what we want. Augment cold again. Okay, so it looks like I don't have an augment chaos mod unless there's one currently on the ground in my Sacred Grove. If there is, then fantastic. I can complete the craft at this point. We'll still have that weak chaos, that weak cold resistance mod, and in fact, this allows me to remove a cold mod and add a new one. I'm just making sure before I do that, there are no cold mods that can roll that are prefixes, and so therefore that's something I'm quite happy to do, because it can't get any worse than 2%. So remove a random cold mod and add a new one, that's ideal. This is level 75, which is high enough. And that hit 11% cold resistance. That's tier 1. I'm actually really happy with that. I didn't need the cold resistance, but it's something that is just useful to have on the item, because then I never need to worry about it. I can remove it from other items. You know, it frees up other itemization. So now at this point, you can check where all your horticrafting stations that are planted are, because they have this musical note image here. If I've got an Augment Chaos, I am guaranteed at this point to hit the mod that I'm desiring. If I don't have one, then I've got two choices. I can either find another player that does and trade from them, or alternately, I can simply wait until I get one myself. I'm going to get another player to do it though, because as long as I don't get scammed, it's a very easy way to do so, and I'll find a player that has a good reputation in the community. It's not worth burning their reputation just to steal this jewel, which is valuable, but is not staggeringly so. So, unfortunately, I can't actually do this step at the moment. I'm going to pause the video and find another player and get them to do the final craft for me, and then show you the end product. Alrighty, and now thanks to another player helping me out by augmenting chaos onto this jewel, I paid them 30 chaos in exchange for doing so. It's now complete. And you can see Armageddon Cut is providing me with 8% Chaos Resistance baseline plus 35% Augment, 4% Life, but that's rounded up to 5 for each of the squares on it. It's got Blessed and it's got the Cold Resistance, a massive amount of Cold Resistance. So I'm going to go ahead and socket that on the passive tree. And now you can see that I've got Blessed, I've got 5% Life, 14% Cold, 10% Chaos by 2. So that's a total of that is a total of 16% increased life for 4 points, as well as 10, 10, and 13 is 23 Chaos Resistance, and 28 points of Cold Resistance, as well as the mana on there, which is a little bonus as well. So I'm very happy with that duel, and it's something that I think is a craft that, whilst I got unlucky and it cost me a lot more than it should have with having to use 33 Add Remove Chaoses, it's certainly something that can be done on an average budget of around maybe 600 Chaos, so 4 Exalts. And of course, if you're less picky and you're willing to settle for tier 2 Chaos Resistance, you can make this craft a hell of a lot cheaper. Anyways, if you've got any comments or questions, fire away below. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a good one.